This is a 2020 Mazda MX5 with a 2-litre 4-cylinder petrol engine. Stats up here. On long journeys when I'm trying to do 70 miles an hour, which in reality means I'm doing between 50 and 70 because of roadworks and traffic, the trip computer shows around about 48 to 50 imperial miles per gallon. And I've tested the computer many times. It's quite accurate, usually within a couple of mpg. But today I want to challenge. I want to see if I can get that trip computer reading 60 miles per gallon. And to do that, I'm going to drive from Colchester to Norwich. 61 miles of boredom. 30, 40, 50 mile per hour speed limits on relatively flat and straight roads. It's one of my least favourite drives simply because it's so boring, but I think it lends itself well for me trying to get 60 miles per gallon out of this. Actually, I don't. I think I'm going to fail this dismally and get 52, but I'm going to try hard anyway. I'm going to be an eco warrior and eke every last mpg I can out of this car, but I'm not going to be unsafe. I'm not going to tailgate people, and I'm not going to drive dangerously slowly. Also, I'm going to be comfortable. If I want the heated seat on, it's going on, and I'm going to leave the air conditioning on, although it's not very hot today, so it won't be working very hard. Anyway, let's go. So, maps are set, air conditioning is on, heated seat is off. It's not very warm outside, but it's warm in here. The sun is heating up this cabin. Trip computer is reset, and this is a cold start. Engines use more fuel for the first couple of minutes that they run after a cold start, so that's not going to help my average. Once I turn it on, I'm going to move. I want the fuel to be used to move the car, not to sit and idle, the engine running and not actually going anywhere. I'm going to leave the stop start system switched on. Ready? Start. And let's go. I don't need to use the gas. Turn that off. Because on cold start, this engine gives me like 1,500 revs. So I need it now just to get going. Okay, so far 18.8 miles per gallon after 0.4 of a mile. Goes to show how much more fuel a cold start uses. I'm going to try and be economical by accelerating gently. I've done tests in the past, and yes, accelerating gently does seem to use less fuel overall, and staying in the highest gear possible, but also slowing down as early as I can so that I'm off the gas pedal for as long as possible. Uh-oh, this water is not a good sign. When the road is wet here, it means it's flooded. Oh no, I'm gonna have to go around the other way. Go slowly here and carefully, just to make sure people can see I'm doing a U-turn, because I'm not going to drive through the flood. It floods quite bad there because it's where, when the tide comes up and the river, it doesn't burst its banks, but the drainage system backfills and water comes out the drains and it gets quite deep, and I'm not driving my car through there, so I'm going to have to go a slightly longer route and back up this hill. That's not going to help my fuel economy. This is one way I'm being economical. I'm off the gas super early as I approach hazards and junctions, because if I'm off the gas pedal, the car isn't using any fuel until now when it's at idle. So at the moment it's using a little bit of fuel just to idle so the car doesn't stall. And then early gear changes and gentle acceleration. If you're interested in a video where I compared early gear shifts with late gear shifts for fuel economy, I'll leave a link to that video on screen now. I will be using the gear shift indicator for my gear choice when I'm cruising, but not for speeding up and slowing down, although it's hard for me to see it because where I've placed the camera, I can see everything but that without moving my head. But when I'm speeding up and slowing down, I just use my own judgment. However, when I'm cruising, the car knows what is the best gear for fuel economy. It knows better than I do. Because you could be in 4th, 5th or 6th in this car at 30, no problems at all. But which one is the most fuel efficient? Well, the computer knows that better than I do. And now I'm stopping at these traffic lights. Let's see if the stop start system works. Turn off, yes. It's worked. I've never wanted it to work so much. 31.3 miles per gallon. I'm not hopeful. We'll see. I'm using the cruise control where I can to try and maintain a steady speed. I can see the roundabout in the distance now, so cruise control off and just be completely off the gas for as long as I can. Now the revs are low, it's going to probably start using fuel to stop the engine from stalling. So down a couple of gears, slowing down now without the brakes. Revs are getting low again. Ignoring the lights now, into second gear. And because I'm approaching the roundabout slowly, there's more chance of me being able to go without having to stop because I can plan my entrance more. Up the gears as early as I can and accelerate as gently as I can. When I did a video comparing whether or not fast acceleration really uses more fuel, some people commented and said the reason why slow acceleration uses less fuel is because you're staying slow for longer. As I'm accelerating slowly, I'm spending more time at the lower speeds. That's true, I'm sure that's true, but it's kind of not relevant. The relevant point is, over a journey, would I use less fuel or more fuel? And if the MPG is more, I'm using less. Oh, I've got to stop at the traffic lights, which means I have to stop and start again. Come on, engine, turn off, save fuel. Yep, that's working. Oh, 38.4 miles per gallon. Although a lot of this journey has been uphill so far. Green light, slow acceleration and early gear changes. Now, although it's taking me a long time to accelerate and therefore I'm spending more time at lower speeds, I am using less fuel over this journey. It's not about speed, it's about fuel economy this journey. It's probably a bit too high, that gear now. Yeah, it said there fifth was better. And I'm about to go on a 70 mile per hour road. There is a stretch of 70, although a lot of it is 50 at the moment because of road works. When I'm on the 70 road, I'm just going to drive in the left lane, in the slower lane, and go with the speed of the slower traffic. I'm not going to bother overtaking because I really don't think I've got a hope of getting 60 miles per gallon on average. Engine's up to temperature now, so I'm getting better fuel economy. But this is a difficult one. So the roundabout's up ahead. I'm sort of feathering the gas. Luckily it's slightly downhill, so I barely need to touch it at all. I'm fully off the gas now. Down into fourth. Going to try and plan my entry into this roundabout so that I don't have to stop. What we got? Aha. It's clear I can go. Didn't have to go below about 24 miles an hour there. Up into fifth. And now I'm going to enter a slip road for a 70 mile per hour road. But it's a long slip road, so I don't have to accelerate quickly. In fact, you don't really want to because quite a sharp bend up here. So I'll get up to about 50 miles an hour. And I'll see how fast the traffic is in the road when I get there. It's probably going to be about 60 miles an hour as I merge. That's the speed that the left lane is often doing, so that's the speed of the lorries. There's usually quite a lot of lorries here. So there's a lorry. I'm going to go in behind this lorry, matching their speed. And that's about 56, 57 miles an hour, my speedo at the moment. Looks safe, and I think I'm going to stay here. They're doing, yeah, around about 55, I think. We'll see. That's the speed I'm going to be doing, and my car is saying I'm getting 99.9 miles per gallon. That's going to help the average, but I am downhill at the moment. As I said earlier, I'm not going to drive dangerously slowly, but the speed of the lorries in the left lane isn't dangerously slowly. That's just normal speed of this lane on these roads. Actually, it looks like the lorry's speeding up a little bit at the moment. Cruise control set to 56. Lorries are apparently limited to 56, but the speedo isn't always totally in line with a car speedo. I think they actually have true speed. So often it looks like they're doing about 60. And I'm getting up to 58 now on the cruise control to stay with them. But that is an economical speed. I'm pleased with that. My constant fuel economy down this little hill at the moment is 88, so my average is going to be going up. Maybe there's hope yet. Maybe I can get 60 miles per gallon on this trip computer. I'm in a 50 now and I'm not displeased. I'm actually quite happy. Fuel economy on the constant down this little hill is 99.9 miles per gallon. I was going uphill quite a bit at the beginning of the journey, and now I've been going downhill quite a bit. So it's give and take, I guess. What? 40? Ooh, lovely. Delightful to see you. So set the cruise to 40. Let's see what the constant fuel economy is. It's saying 50.9, no, 95.8, that was up. That's probably accelerated from about 39 to 40, it was using a bit more. 95.8 constant fuel economy at the moment. I didn't know this was 40, I thought it was 50. I think that's actually going to do me some good. Some of you may be asking, why am I relying on the car's trip computer instead of filling up the car, doing the drive, and then filling it up again to calculate how much fuel I've used? And that's because I don't find that method works very well when you're only using about a gallon of fuel, because where the fuel pump clicks off varies. It's not always the same, and it seems to be a variation of about half a litre. And when I'm only using around about 4.5–5 litres, as I will be today, that's a big inaccuracy. I'm actually better off going with the trip computer. Some people say fill it up to the very brim so I can see the fuel, and then do that again so I know I'm putting in the same amount of fuel. But you don't want to top off your fuel tank, because fuel can get into your evap system, which can cause harm. When fuel gets in that system, often you have to replace it, which is expensive, so I don't want to risk that. And I usually go by the trip computer. Normally I get 48 to 50. Today I want to see 60, so that is a significant improvement over what I usually get, just via my driving style and taking longer and sticking with the slower traffic on these roads. The 40 is ending, so coming into a national speed limit now. Anyway, I think this trip computer, when I've tested it on full tanks, has usually been within a couple of miles per gallon correct. You know, if it says I've got 48, I've got 46, 47. It usually does overread a little bit, but not much. The fuel fill-up method to test fuel economy does work all right when you're using a whole tank of fuel, especially when you've got a big tank, say a 60 litre tank, because that half a litre difference from where the fuel pump cuts off is a smaller percentage in the fuel you've used. So it's a smaller variation, but when I'm only using around 5 litres, it's around about 10%. That's just too much. So I am 23 miles into the journey now, so just over a third of the way, and I've got 54.8 miles per gallon. I just can't see it getting higher than that. I'm leaving now, leaving this faster road to do the slower roads, 30, 40s and 50s, and on those roads I am going to be doing the speed limit, because it's not fair to go slow and hold everyone up if they can't pass me. Not using any gas all the way up to this roundabout, a little bit of brake, have just under half a tank of fuel. I never thought about that actually, I didn't even think to check. Luckily I got enough to get there, that should be plenty. And I probably could have gone there, but it would have been a bit cheeky, so I had to stop. So the beginning of the most boring roads. This is the reason why I don't like this journey. Driving at 40, 50 miles an hour for a long period of time isn't fun, and I had forgotten to signal right to go around that roundabout. So I'm concentrating on being economical. Didn't forget to leave though, to signal to leave. Very slow acceleration now. This is a 50 road, dual carriageway here, but not for long. I'll set the cruise control at 50. 55.2 miles per gallon now after slowing down, going down that hill. Maybe there's hope, but it's just not really going much higher than that. I actually find this quite fun. I do like driving quickly, but on a boring journey like this, trying to make it an eco challenge does add a little bit of excitement to it. Oh, 54.4, it's gone down. I was higher than that. I've just gone up a hill. It does make it more of a challenge, and I do like a challenge. Right, this is the last bit of dual carriageway. I don't think there is any from here. There might be a couple of short sections that I forgot about, but I'm still behind the same lorry that I was behind when I entered the A12, the 70-mile-an-hour road at Colchester, and now I've gone past Ipswich. I'm just over halfway through the journey now. I've done quite a bit of 50, done a little bit of 30. It seems to get its best economy at 40, but there's not a lot of that, and I can't really do that now because that'll be unfair to cars behind. I'm getting 55.9 miles per gallon. It seems to be its ceiling. It doesn't want to go any more than that, and as I get into Norwich, well, I'm going to be stopping and starting and driving less economically, so I don't think I'm going to make this. 30 coming up now, so slowing down. I would have started slowing down earlier if I would have known it was there sooner. Let's get it down to 30. Cruise control on. Yeah, it's not ticking up to 56. Oh, 56.4. Spoke too soon. I'm 2/3 of the way through the journey now. I had a couple of stretches of road that had a 40-mile-per-hour speed limit, and they helped me out a lot, but not enough. 57.3 miles per gallon. I'm on a short section of 70-mile-an-hour dual carriageway. I forgot about this bit. And I'm doing 50. Cruise control set to 50. People can pass me. I don't think this is a dangerous speed. This is my minimum speed for these roads. Maybe I should have... no, 60 miles per gallon is a round number. That's the number I should be going for. Come on, I've got to do this. Roundabout coming up soon. I'm going to slow down ever so gradually towards this roundabout. I'm going to start now. So cruise control off and just feather the throttle. So I'm not... Yeah, you go. 99.9 miles per gallon on the constant fuel economy trip computer. Keep it there all the way to this roundabout. 57.6 miles per gallon on the average. It's gone up a bit. Slow down a bit more. Fifth gear. Try and keep my minimum speed up through this roundabout. Yep, it's good. I can go. What's my minimum speed? About 25. And I'm on a 60 road now, and people can't get past me. Oh, I don't want to do 60. There's no one behind me at the moment. I'm going to set it to 50, but if someone catches up with me, I'm going to go up to 60. I don't want to hold people up. But at the moment, I'm all right. No one behind. There's a lorry in front. Yes! Hopefully that lorry's doing 56 miles an hour, so I have an excuse to go a little bit slower than 60. 3.2 miles until my next roundabout. I've never wanted a lower speed limit so much before. I'm now coming into a more urban area. I'm in Long Stratton, coasting at the moment at 8 miles an hour, 58.4 miles per gallon average. I'm so close. Be very quiet and respectful as I go past the funeral car. That's not hard at the moment. I'm driving very quietly. Traffic lights. Maybe I should have been a bit quicker. Engine off. 58.4 miles per gallon. Just 1.6 more miles per gallon needed. And now I'm in an urban area. Near the Lotus garage. Always like driving down this road, although it is a bit distracting. That is an old Aston Martin. Not sure which one. V8. It's that era, V8 era. Aston Martin seem to have a straight 6 era, V8 era, then V12, although they still do the V8s and the V12s together at the moment. So green light, up the gears, and try to resist the urge to look into the Lotus garage. Some beautiful cars in there and some Aston Martins. 25 miles an hour. At 25 miles an hour in fifth gear, I'm getting, saying 99.9 miles per gallon. It's downhill though. What I am going to do, if I'm driving sort of around 10 miles an hour, I will coast it. Like now, for example, it just gets better fuel economy if I coast at these low speeds, but it doesn't affect safety. See, 40, I had a constant fuel economy there. If I coast now at 5 miles an hour, constant fuel economy is 33.9, but when it was in gear, it was 14 miles per gallon. Either way, that's lower than 60. It's all lower than 60 now. Oh, it's going to be downhill, not literally. Fuel economy is going to be downhill. Let's get past this green light. Up a worryingly steep hill now. Oh, 58.2. I think I've peaked at 58.4, and I don't think I'm going to get better than that. Now I'm in the urban area. Just 1.8 shy. If you can hear buzzing, it's my camera buzzing. It's just vibrating a little bit where it's mounted. It's not actually the car. Oh, is that a 50 zone? 10 miles left, or a bit more than 10 miles left, 11 miles left. So it's not all urban yet. Down to 58 miles per gallon now. It's the first time my average has started coming down. It's been up all the way here, going up, up, up. And now it's starting to come down again. 58.8, 1.2 off. I've had some more 40 zone. I was just stuck behind a van, which really helped me out. This is a 60, roundabout in 1.2 miles. I'm doing 48 miles an hour. I really don't want to speed up. Oh, what's that say? What does that say? Does that say a 40? Or is it just for the bridge? Bridge safety scheme, 40. Okay, I'll do 40. I'm doing 40 now. 58.7, I've lost 0.1. I want that van back. That van put me back in this game. I was back in the running, doing like 45 miles an hour in a 60 because of the van in front. And I will go right at this roundabout. That's unusual. Usually I go ahead at this roundabout to go into Norwich, but I am going to the football stadium and I don't normally go there. I thought, where should I go in Norwich? And I looked on the map and I saw the football stadium and thought, well, that seems like a good place to go. Quite a famous football team. 60 mile per hour limit again. Round about half a mile away. Okay, I'm going to speed up to 45. Where's the roundabout? Oh, it's just over the brow of that hill. I really don't want to speed up to 60 just to brake against. 45 miles an hour. 0.3 of a mile away now, the roundabout, starting to slow down, feathering the throttle so that I don't slow down too quickly, but I can still use very little fuel on approach to the A47. That looks like a fast road. Maybe I should go ahead. I can go ahead, but I'm not sure if that's a lot longer. Ah, damn it. I'm gonna go with what it's saying. Right at this roundabout, A47. Oh, good, I can keep my speed up to 4th gear. Don't tend to signal on big spiral roundabouts like this just to change lane. 3 minutes slower ahead. I'm going to go ahead. 3 minutes slower, I'm taking that. I can leave in this lane. There we go, because 3 minutes slower, maybe slower, but these roads are slower. So I think I'm going to get my better chance here than going on the fast road. 60 mile per hour limit. I believe this is where Tesco's is down here. And I need the loo, but I'm driving past. I'm going to hold it. Traffic lights. Stay green. I don't want to go too fast through them. It's a 60 road and amber lasts 3 seconds, which is not very long if you're doing 60 miles an hour. I've timed many traffic lights and amber lasts 3 seconds if you're in a 30 or a 60. I think it's one of the problems with our roads. It means you have to brake very hard if you're doing 60 miles an hour at a traffic light. And I'm going to stay in this lane. Neutral now. Fuel economy is 99.9. That's the constant fuel economy, not my average, I wish. And now engine off. 59.2! 0.8 away. Oh, now the heat is on. Oh, the pressure. I don't think I'm going to see higher than that though. I know I'm being pessimistic. I'm just realistic though, but still, I didn't expect to see this. 59.2, I'm accelerating though. That'll come back down. Now I'm accelerating. I got that high economy because I was slowing down towards the lights. and I've got a right turn soon. And I'm going to move to the right lane here, I think. Yep, that looks right. Off the gas. Okay, I'll go into second gear now, try and use some engine braking. 99.9 miles per gallon. Now neutral, 49.5. Can't be in gear now, can't use engine braking, I'm too slow. And engine off, 59.1. It's getting worse. So this is a 30. If I get it, it's a roundabout, so I can't really stay at 30 for long. I'm just going to see what the constant fuel economy is at 30. Slightly uphill, and it's saying, give it a time to settle down, 50.4. And then obviously, when I'm off the gas approaching the junction, it's higher. 59 miles per gallon, that's worse. It's getting worse. It's so frustrating when the average is 59. But the constant fuel economy is less than that, because I just know it's coming down. At the moment, my constant is 60.4, which is just above my average of 59. So I know that's increasing my average, but so small. It's such a small amount, I'm not going to notice it. It will take ages. So I've got to ignore the lights. Now I'm carrying on through. It's the roundabout where I'm going right, not the traffic light. So, yep. So I can use lane 1 and 2 here. I'm going to stay in lane 2 just because it's easier. So I'm moving all the way over there. There's no cars around, seems a bit awkward to do that. And roundabout right, third exit, 2.1 miles to go. Nice clear road markings. Norwich is a nice city. If you've not been here, I do recommend a visit. It's very beautiful. Lovely city centre. Slowing down now into second. I could have done better. I could have slowed down earlier for that. I was talking about Norwich. And the Volvo, which way are they going ahead? 58.8 with 1.9 miles to go. So just 0.8 miles left and it's 59 miles per gallon. But I'm in traffic. Lights are red, so we'll be waiting here again. And I really need the loo now. Aha! I think I can see it. This is the football club. So very nearly there, not on the road yet. Carrow Road, I think it's called. I think it's the name of the football club. Ring Road? Do I need the Ring Road to go to the football club? I think they're called the Canaries. And I believe Delia Smith and her husband, I might be wrong, but I believe they're like majority owners of the football club, which is interesting. She's like a famous TV presenter who did like cookery TV programmes. Obviously an avid Norwich City Football Club supporter as well. Stop turning on! You're supposed to be stop-start. When I stop, you're supposed to stop and save me fuel. 58.7. It's all right when you lose a challenge by quite a lot, but when it's so close, that's when it's harder to deal with. Quite a nice looking stadium. Right at the traffic lights. I can fit in the middle here, so I will. And I think that's Carrow Road. Yes, it is. I'm here. When I pull into that road, when I get to the car park, actually, I'll call it the end there. At the car park. So where is it? Here we are. Oh, it's a Holiday Inn car park, I believe. The Holiday Inn here actually has rooms where you can see the football pitch. 20 mph zone. And this is the entrance to the car park on the right here. Private land, it says. Oh, I don't know if I should put in there then. Don't know if there's ANPR cameras. I best not. What have I got? 58.7. I'm calling that the end. 58.7 miles per gallon. I'm going to go find somewhere to use the loo and then I will sum up this video. I'm about to talk about car insurance for 30 seconds to a minute. If you're not interested, skip to this time. But if you are, check out the links too. Collingwood and Confused in the description. If you're learning to drive and want to insure yourself on somebody else's car, then Collingwood are there for you, because you can do so without affecting the owner's policy, and that takes away a big stress from the owner of that car. Via the link at the moment, there's up to 35% off and a £20 Amazon gift card. If you want to insure your own car, I recommend checking out the link to confused.com. You fill out one quote form and get loads of quotes back to compare who's cheapest. And you can change your car on that quote as many times as you like to see how much it costs to insure different cars without having to redo the whole quote. You can literally just change the car and recalculate, and voila, you have loads of new prices. That's what I do when I'm looking at cars and when I'm trying to find someone to insure this car. Using the links doesn't cost you anything, but it does support the channel, so thank you very much. Well, that feels better. I think I figured out why the stop-start system kept disengaging. I needed the loo. So I was shaking and my foot was like this on the brake pedal. That depleted the vacuum in the brake booster, meaning the engine had to come on to replenish the vacuum. If you're wondering why I didn't go into the car park at the stadium, it's because it said private land, and I find it very easy to get parking tickets these days, and I didn't want the hassle. I got a couple of tickets a while back for staying in a co-op car park for 6 minutes at a time. I stayed there twice, and then I got my first ticket after the second stay, and then the next ticket a week later, which was incredibly frustrating. Some people were sympathetic and said, that's ridiculous, you weren't in there for long, and other people were like, it's your own fault, you weren't a customer, you shouldn't have been using the car park, which was true. I wasn't a customer. The reason why I was there was because I was teaching someone to drive, and they lived far away, so they would come with their dad to their dad's work, which was next to the co-op, and I would pick them up from his dad's work, give him the lesson and drop him off at college. His dad's work didn't have a car park and there was no parking on the road, so I used the co-op's car park. 6 minutes, really? Is that what we have to deal with these days? Obviously so. Why not come out, knock on the door and say, you shouldn't park here, this is for customers only, please move, and then that's fine, I'll go. Instead of waiting until I've done it twice and then sending me 2 tickets. What do you think? Don't think that had happened 20 years ago. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. 58.7 miles to the gallon. 1.3 short. Yes, I'm still feeling frustrated. I did try to get it to 60. I was trying quite hard there. Could I have done it? Maybe. I mean, I was being economical in my driving. Roof is on, so it's aerodynamic. Conditions are good. Not so hot that the air conditioning's doing much, and not so cold that the cold start would use even more fuel. If I didn't do a cold start though, I think I would have made it, but that's not realistic. When you start journeys, usually you do cold starts. Maybe if I drove slower, but I think I was already driving at the lower end of what's acceptable. So to drive even slower, I don't think that's really an option. If I got luckier with who I was stuck behind and I was doing 40 in the 60s more, maybe I would have made it. But I think I got pretty lucky as it was. So, challenge failed. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to get my future videos. And until the next one, cheerio.